is broken. All the dreams of my tomorrow. Suddenly, it's clear to me you're the only friend that I.
I'd like to be a rose in your garden, but I'm just a thorn in your side. I'm not poison ivy, so baby, won't you try me, and I'll keep you satisfied. I could be shy as a blush, or fresh as a daisy in May. My friends call me Junior, but I'll be your sweet petunia, and I'll do for you every day. Take me to your greenhouse, baby. I'd like to see your gladiolus grow. I'd like to tiptoe through your tulips, so popular on the let me know that I could be a rose in your garden. That I could be a rose in your garden. I'd be daffy as a daffodil. If you stay a night, I'll be your clinging vine, 'cause that would be my greatest thrill. If I could be a rose in your garden, say I will. Oh, everything is so sweet.
Well, hello. Welcome, darlings. Just a little Jayne impersonation there for you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, today, whatever it is. It means so much to me. This is a very important and meaningful tribute, spectacle that I'm about to do, because it's about the one woman besides my mother who I've loved my whole life, and that's Jayne Mansfield. Hello, I'm Hillary Mansfield. I'm going to give a little brief synopsis about my history with Jayne. I'm going to talk about the movie, and I'm going to talk about the person that made the movie, my dear friend, Frank Ferruccio. So, I stated in my last content, my last video about the Jayne Mansfield story, how I became a Jayne Mansfield fan. Long story short, my mom used to take me to the malls on the weekend, not the weekends when she was at work, because I would get bored at home. And I went to the bookstore, saw Hollywood Babylon with the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in the world on the cover, Jayne. I had to buy the book, and I just loved her ever since. I remember when the Jayne Mansfield story came on TV, and I thought back then that she and Lonnie Anderson did look so much alike. And they do. It was just so much fun being a Jayne fan, growing up with this woman, you know, learning more and more about her, being in the Jayne Mansfield fan club. Our birthdays are one day apart. She's an Aries, I'm an Aries. She loved men, I love men. And she loved being famous. She loved being a star. Even if you don't like the movies, even if you're a huge Marilyn Monroe cuckoo, a huge Marilyn Monroe fan, you have to acknowledge that there is something interesting about Jayne. You know, oftentimes Marilyn fans, oh, she was just an impersonator. No, she wasn't. So she took roles that Marilyn didn't want. Well, who was supposed to take them? Joan Collins, Liz Taylor, please. Jayne would have done Amazon Women on the Moon. That's just her. But she's fascinating. I will say this. She lacks one thing that Marilyn had. Marilyn had a huge thing about vulnerability. When you see Marilyn Monroe, you want to hug her. You want to take care of her. Jayne wasn't like that. She could take care of herself. This bitch was in charge. She was Devon. So basically, I had been a fan basically my whole life. I met some wonderful people in the Jayne Mansfield network, the Jayne Mansfield fan club, one of whom was Frank Ferruccio. And he is the everything of this movie. The writer, the producer, He had a hand in everything. It was a labor of love for him, and I know how much it meant to him. And he made his dream come true. I'm going to explain the plot a little bit after I finish going on and on about Frank. I want to do a little tribute to my friend Frank Ferruccio. So, truthfully, I was supposed to have been a part of this film. I was supposed to be a fact checker. At one time, I was the number one most knowledgeable Jayne Mansfield fan. And Frank had put that part to the side for me, where I was going to check the script, make sure everything was accurate. And there was even a small part in the movie that he created just for me. It's the receptionist at the coroner's office, and she is a mega bitch. And I have to say, from the styling to the lines to the way the woman says the lines are exactly like I would have said them. I'm so grateful, and truly, I don't regret a lot in life, but my biggest regret in life is that because of circumstances, I did not take part in the film. Frank has been bullied and ganged up on by some, I'm not going to say crazy, but unknowledgeable Jayne fans that only want to see the good things. They want everything to be, heart-shaped, pink lemonade and Valentine's and heart shapes, and that wasn't the thing. Jayne had a rock and roll life. She never had the wild years like we have. She was a mother since she was like 17, so she never had those wild, crazy years like we all do. So after a few kids, she got tired of Mickey, and she did. I'm sorry, she did, and she became a really wild one. But that's neither here nor there. Back to Frank. Frank, every bit of love pours through this movie. And of course I'm going to give it a good review. There's one exception, and you know what that is. But I'm so proud of you, Frank. I'm so privileged to have known you. You made me, the love and friendship that you bestowed upon me means so much to me, because it came at a time in my life when I really needed it. I've never had tons of friends, but I'd gone back to North Carolina having left Atlanta, and I was real lonely, and I discovered my fellow Jayne fans, and Frank and I were exactly alike. We saw the wildness and we loved it. We loved the tackiness, we loved the over-the-topness, the trashiness, the passing out on stage, the career, no longer an A-list star, but performing in nightclubs, and she really didn't perform in seedy nightclubs. There's so many urban legends about her. But Frank, I'm so proud of you, and I'm privileged to have known you. I'm so sorry that situation happened between you and I didn't take part in the film. I was wrong, and I love how you made that part for me, and I wish I'd played it. And I just wish I'd have been there by your side, because I should have been. I would have loved to have been part of this movie. Film, picture. It's so good. It's so fun, like Jayne, and it's so accurate. So I want to urge everyone to check out Diamonds to Dust, The Life and Death, or The Rise and Fall of Jayne Mansfield, which is based on the book. He has 2 books. Diamonds to Dust, The Life and Death of Jayne Mansfield, and did success spoil Jayne Mansfield? Yes, it did. So the movie picks up basically with some scenes of the very beautiful, very Jayne-like Haley Heisek, who plays Jayne, driving around in a pink car. And then we cut to one of the most dreadful pieces of casting I've ever witnessed in my life. For all you crazy people that think that Elizabeth Berkley was miscast in Showgirls, which she wasn't, for all you people that think that Basic Instinct Part 2 was a bomb, and it wasn't, Meet Patty Ivy. She plays Jayne's mother, Vera Jeffrey, who did not have a southern accent, who wasn't from Texas. First and foremost, this movie was in the Screen Actors Guild. It was a legitimate film. Yes, it was an indie, but it was a legitimate film. It's unfortunate that people are able to bully others on the internet. Because I want to say something to Patty Ivy, which is basically how she got this part. And to the other people, and you know who you are. I don't have to say your names. You have bullied a man because you think that he sold fake movie memorabilia. Kimmy Rosenthal, Heather, the other girl from Australia. You bullied a man with cancer. My mother and my father died of cancer, and now my sister is battling cancer. So, the fact that you all took it upon yourself because you think he was making a tacky movie about a woman that you have made into an angelic figure, you're delusional. You bullied a man with cancer. You've probably taken years off his life. To my knowledge, Frank never sold anything fake. Having said that, when you buy a piece of movie memorabilia, it's buy at your own risk. None of us were really around back then. We don't know if it truly belonged to the person. All I can tell you is I saw the certificates. They were not forged. The makeup artist from Marilyn Monroe. You know, you guys were just relentless, Mark Bellinghouse. Patty Ivy, this is how you got that part in the movie. Besides the fact that you worked for really cheap. And excuse me because I'm going to go on a rant now, everyone. Patty Ivy. I don't know who told you you could act. You can't. You're dreadful. You don't look like Jayne Mansfield. You have never looked like Jayne Mansfield. I'm not going to talk about your figure, but I am going to talk about your cruelty, the fact that you're a bully, the fact that you're a liar, the fact that you were never really a Jayne Mansfield fan. You found a place to hang your hat and join a clique. And Frank took you in and gave you these, what you considered love, and they were really making fun of you, darling. They laughed at you. We all laughed at you. When he was making the movie, he thought you were dreadful. He laughed at you, but again, you were cheap. Frank, what were you thinking with this piece of casting? I mean, my God, I would have gotten my mom to play the part. I would have played the damn part. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Patty Ivy plays Vera Jeffrey, Jayne Mansfield's mother, and she is terrible. But don't let that ruin the movie for you, because there's so much good in it. But Patty, I want to thank you for making all the lies up about me, for convincing that German crazy man, Mark Bellinghouse, to put my father's obituary on his website. I wish I had worked on this film, because I would have given you so much torture. And I would have done it so nicely. There's so many names that I could call you, but I'm trying to be a better person. But at the same time, I have to, express myself. You're a horrible woman. Pink meows. You're nothing. Hell hath no fury. And may God have mercy on your soul if there is a God. You live your life by taking handouts from people and, oh, I can't afford to do this, I can't afford to do that. He gave you furs that belonged to Jayne, wigs that belonged to Jayne, and you did your makeup thinking you looked like Jayne, girl. You're delusional. You look more like Jan Crouch, my darling. Maybe you don't know who she is. You look more like Tammy Faye Baker. That's an insult to Tammy Faye Baker. You didn't look like Jayne. But enough about her. All I can say is that's the one part of the movie that brings it down. because I can't give it a 10. Because when she is in a scene with someone, she is so ridiculously overacting that it makes everyone else not appear that they're doing a good job. Frank, I have to say, had I been working on this film, that would have been the one thing that I would have put my foot down about. No. I want to say something too, going on to something else better. Let's quit talking about that sack of potatoes. I mean Patty Ivy. James Mansfield has a part in this movie. He plays two roles. And James Mansfield was on RuPaul's Drag Race. And thank you, James. We have never been formally introduced, but thank you for representing Jayne and, doing your thing and being yourself. He plays Greg Tyler, the questionable bisexual boy toy best friend, Matt Simber's nephew or something. And he's perfect in that. He is so good in it. And he plays Mae West. When Jayne meets Mickey, there is a Mae West impersonator, and he has it down pat. That's awesome, James. I'm so proud of you. I wish I had known you or worked on the film with you. You were so good. Susan Cappuccino, I think is the way you pronounce her name. She is a community theater actress. She plays May Mann, who is, of course, the reporter who is secretly in love with Jayne, who loves Jayne as they're best friends. And she doesn't look like May. She doesn't even talk like May. But God almighty, she's a good actress. And she's got it. She's got it. There's a lot of what appears to be stage people in this film. And they're so good. The actor who plays Mickey Hargitay, what's his name? Let me find that sack of gold. First and foremost, awesome casting for that. I forgive you for casting Patty, because you cast a perfect person to play Mickey. And honey, I hope I pronounce his name right. You guys, the man is freaking gorgeous. Adrian Gorbulev. I'm sorry, honey. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, but Adrian. Let's see. Shit. Excuse me one moment. Adrian Gorbulev plays Mickey Hargitay. And boy, what a stone cold fox. Adrian, so listen, I would love to have you as a guest on my show and talk about your career and things that you've accomplished and take you out and meet you. So if you're ever in the Baltimore area, or if you're ever interested in, seriously, for real, if you're ever interested in doing like a phone-in or something like that, I would love to interview you. I think you're so fabulous. You're so hot. Keeping it real, this is Hill Jayne Unfiltered. Soon to be Hill Jayne Domination. This is Hill Jayne Unfiltered, and I'm being unfiltered besides the filter that you see now. But you were really good, darling. I'm just flirting with you and joking a little bit. But you were really good in it, and thank you for representing Mickey so well. You were perfect, and you definitely look perfect. And now I have to do a tribute. I've done a tribute to Jayne. I'm going to continue to do a tribute to Jayne. I've done one to Frank. I have to do one to the actress who plays Jayne Mansfield. And her name is Haley Heisig. There is no one that could play this part at this time, except for this woman named Haley Heisig. Similar heights, almost exact same frame. Facially, not a huge resemblance, but she's got the voice, she's got the walk, she does the squeal properly, and she's such a good actress. Oh my effing God, what a thrill it would have been for me to have worked with this actress. Of course she's beautiful, but not just that. When you see someone who's so good in a role, and who takes it so seriously, and it's almost like it's effortlessly, it inspires you. I'm inspired by this role. I sent her a message many moons ago, and she sent me a nice little note back thanking me. But I don't know how to get in touch with her. But I would love to get in touch with her. I would kill to have her as a guest on the show. I don't know if she is still interested in talking about the film. I just want to talk about her life, what she's doing now, and how she feels about Jayne now. Hey, you were so good. Thank you. Thank you so much for kicking ass, for playing my muse the way she should have been played. And I still believe you're going to be a big star one day. It's going to happen. It has to happen. Such a good actress, you guys. Such a good actress. She's had some small parts. And for those of you that don't know, Jayne Mansfield is the mother of Mariska Hargitay, who is Detective Olivia Benson on Law & Order SVU. And Mariska, long time no see. What's up, man? I know I'm acting like I know these people, but I have communicated with many, many people in the Jayne Mansfield family. Not humongous conversations. I've even talked to Nelson Sardelli. Oh, and the actor who plays him, Frank, another piece of awesome casting. For my friend girls, for my gay friends, my gay fans, you know, my homegirls, there is a new scene from a man in this film. The actor who plays Nelson Sardelli, very worth a check out. You know, Frank had to do something. Long story short, but Haley, I bow down to another muse. Thank you. I don't really want to get into the plot too much. Basically, it picks up where kind of the Jayne Mansfield story left off, and it's much more accurate. And I want to point out some of the flaws at first. First and foremost, Frank sank every dime that he had into this film. So no, it was not filmed in Hollywood. It was filmed in Jersey and Jayne's birthplace, Penargil, Pennsylvania. There is a scene in the movie where the Kiss Them For Me movie is opening, and Jayne goes to the premiere in Penargil at that theater. That actually happened. And they actually recreate the scene in the same theater. How fabulous. That would have been so awesome. The same exact quotes that Jayne made, many of the original costumes, outfits that she wore, I think a couple of the same wigs that Jayne wore. Just, it's a good tribute. The film got a bad rap from so many Jayne Mansfield fans because those fans are delusional. They don't accept Jayne for what she was, which was a raging, pill-popping, sex-obsessed, loving mother of 5. And you can be both. She's living proof of that. Just because whatever went on in her private life doesn't mean that she wasn't a good role model. Let me tell you something. She didn't sleep her way to the top. She did everything herself by publicity. She didn't have anyone working for her. She did everything herself. She is a good role model. She didn't screw this guy to get the part. She got on people's nerves by getting so much publicity. They had to give her parts. And she did it all herself, and she never relied on a man to support her. She did everything herself. The very first American motion picture actress to appear nude in a major motion picture was Jayne Mansfield. Promises, Promises, the 1963 huge hit. There's some, just because a film may have a lower budget doesn't mean that it wasn't a hit. And Promises, Promises was a huge hit. And Jayne got an astounding $150,000 in 1963 to be in that film, which was half the movie's budget. And she looks so lovely. I know I'm gushing, but you have to understand, you guys, this is my gift to Frank, because in my life he's given me so many gifts. This is my gift to Haley for representing Jayne, to most of the cast for doing such a good job, and this is a love letter to you guys. I wish I'd been there with you, but I'm not going to go on and on about that. As a fan, looking at the movie, I love it. Couple of things that are very small, minute, that didn't happen. The Jan Winter thing, If you guys are familiar with Jayne history, later in life, Jayne is partying hard with a Dutch writer named Jan Kramer. And boy, there's a scene of Jayne tripping on acid. And Haley comes out in her skivvies, her undies, and the beautiful body, so voluptuous, and she's such a good actress. It's a true, accurate portrayal of a woman who had flaws, but was still a good mother. You know, Jayne Mansfield struggled because she sometimes wondered, if I'm doing this, does this mean I'm not a Christian? If I'm doing this, does it mean I'm not a good mother? And later in life, her last husband would use that against her in a custody battle by saying that she was an unfit mother just because she was comfortable showing her body. And she had a great body. Why hide it? And honestly, she really only ever showed her boobs. She really didn't show down there very much. Anyway, so little things in the movie. The Yan thing is kind of overdone. There's even a small part where the Douglas Olivares character is featured, and I have talked to him. I've met him online, and he himself at some point was thinking about releasing something on Jayne. For you guys don't know, before Sam Brody, there was a young, underage, Brazilian guy that Jayne dated when she was going to do a few club dates in Rio de Janeiro. She found herself a 16-year-old lover, and I mean, and before you start saying predator and all that bullshit, things were different back then. I don't know what the age of consent is in Brazil these days, but remember, 1966 was a different time. So don't hand me that. Grow up. Just like all you people that think Joan Crawford was this abusive monster. People got spanked when they were back then. I deserved every spanking I got. I deserved every slap in the face I got. That's right. And my mother worshipped me, but I deserved every single slap in the face that she gave me. So this is the scene that I've been telling you about. This was created just for me, and I was to play the coroner's reception. They're going to pick up Jayne's dead body.
And who is this with you?
Her parents. We're Vera and Harry Piers. We just flew in from Dallas, Texas.
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm here to pick up the body of my wife, Jayne Mansfield Simber.
Your wife? This man says he's her husband. Would you people please keep your facts straight?
This ape? He still thinks he is a husband? Talk about not wanting to let go. I am her legal husband. My name is Matt Simber. Miss, please, forget about whatever these delusional people have to say.
Over my dead body, will you take my poor Janie anywhere? This man is not her husband, and he never was. He's just a parasite, just a poor excuse of a man.
Vera, go to hell. This is not your decision to make. I am still legally married to Jayne.
I called my lawyer before I got on the plane. Jayne never filed our Mexican divorce papers in California. I'm still her legal husband.
Well, monkey man, when we were married in Mexico, your divorce was legal. So I'm a legal widower. Get off.
Stop it! Just fucking stop it! My only child, my daughter, is dead, so just stop it! Give me my daughter's body.
Okay, everyone calm the hell down. I'm not going to release Miss Mansfield's remains until a judge orders me to. Until then, she'll be safe right here. Have a little respect for the dead.
So obviously I love this scene. The actress plays her exactly as I would have. I just wonder if Frank had told her, act like Hillary Mansfield, because boy, she sure does. Unfortunately, the scene is with you-know-who. So we're going to take just a few moments and show some scenes from the film. This is a scene in which Haley, as Jayne, seems to be suffering from postpartum depression. Love this scene here. Haley, as Jayne is noticing her thinning hair and is about to receive some devastating news about a rival.
Janie, I just wanted to tell you, it's all over the news. Marilyn was pronounced dead. It's an apparent suicide. They found bottles of pills empty by her bed.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I know. Everyone's shocked. I just wanted you to know.
Thanks so much.
Just a recreation of her big, infamous, iconic scene in Promises, Promises.
I hear bluebirds sing new words so clear and strong, enraptured, I'm captured by love's sweet song. I'm in love.
This one speaks for itself.
Meet you. Welcome here to America. Oh, excuse me? Doc, could you do me a favor? Go to that blonde over there and tell her she's gonna book. Sophia Loren, best breasts in the world? Yeah, right. Fox sure does have her covered up tonight. Now show Miss Loren how we do it here in America.
Legendary, very talked about scene here that actually did happen in real life. It pretty much explains itself.
Yeah, I do. Smells like pot to me.
Jayne Marie. Jayne Marie, come down here, please.
Yeah? What do you need, Mom?
Have you been smoking pot?
No, why?
Don't lie, little Jane. You can smell it. All right? It reeks in here.
Jayne Marie, you know how I feel about drugs. I absolutely forbid you to do them.
Would you rather me be drinking all day and night like you then?
Jayne Marie, I'm an adult. And what I do is my own business. Okay?
How do you expect me to respect your rules when you're a mess most of the time?
Now, don't you dare disrespect your mother like that. Do you understand me?
Don't you dare try to be my father, Sam. If you want to be a father, why don't you go home to your own family? Stay the hell out of mine.
You ungrateful little bitch.
Sam, stop it! What? Stop! Don't you hit her!
Someone has to, all right? She has no respect for you or anyone, Jane.
What's going on? What is going on here, Sam?
What are you talking about? What's going on?
Are you with her now? Are you doing that?
What are you, paranoid? Not like your ex-husbands, all right?
I am paranoid.
Not with your ex-lovers, all right?
Where the fuck are you going?
I am not gonna take being hit by him. You may like it, but I don't. I have had it around here. I'm sick of you always being fucked up and having to clean up your mess.
Fine. If you don't like it in my house, then leave. One less mouth to feed.
I'm sorry, Mom. I need to take care of my life from now on, and not yours.
Let the little bitch go. She'll be back.
Fuck you, Sam. I never want to see your nasty face again. Why don't you go home where you belong to your crippled wife and children? Hope you fucking die.
Stop it, Sam. Just stop it. I can handle my own children.
You think you can, Jane, but you can't. All right? You can't handle anything without me.
Oh, yeah, Sam? You think I can't handle anything without you? Well, then maybe Jane Marie is right. And you should go back home to your wife, the cripple, and your own kids.
Yeah? Is that what you really want, Jane? Because if I go, I'm not coming back.
Oh, yeah? Well, then why don't you just get the fuck out and leave me the fuck alone? I don't need anyone. They all need me. Fuck everybody. I'm the breadwinner around here.
As usual, somehow or another, the last part of the review, which was the best part, has disappeared. So I'm in the laundry room getting my dirty laundry cleaned. So I'm going to finish the review here. And what better place to do a movie review than in the laundry room? Talking about the trash in the trashy room. And no, this film is not trashy. I say that with love and fun because I love trashy. So, let's see. I did my tribute to Frank. I did my tribute to Haley. I have to do one to Jayne Mansfield. So this woman has inspired me. This woman has inspired me. Before Madonna, before the Go-Go's, there was Jayne for me. Farrah Fawcett, then Jayne. And I just connected with her. And the love I have for her, it's not that I want to be her, I just want to honor her. And I want people to remember her. Because they should, because she's amazing. And I don't use that word very often. She's incredible. She had a wild and rock and roll life. And I relate with that. She made a lot of mistakes, as I do, as we all do. But she owned them all. There were some not pretty parts of her life, and this film explores that, and there's nothing wrong with that. To the people who thought that, I don't understand why you don't want to know. I don't understand why you don't want to know the whole story. Get to know the real woman, because the woman that you claim to love is an illusion. She wasn't she wasn't an angel. That's what I love about her so much. She was a badass bitch, and she was smart. And all that stuff's been written about and talked about her high IQ. She was majoring in science and everything. She's just someone, because she did it all herself. And that's admirable. And I look up to her, and I think that she should be remembered. That era is long gone. And boy, it was glamorous, and it was fun, and I just love it. I love the classic movies, and I love the blonde bombshell movies. Of course, Jane. I love Marilyn. I love Mamie. I love Carol Baker, Mae West, Jean Harlow. Jane was the greatest of them all. She did it all herself, and she deserves respect. Look at her daughter, Mariska Hargitay, respected television actress, the highest paid woman on TV, and deservedly so. Jane would go crazy because she loved money. She was a thrifty gal. So Jane, thank you for everything. The films, the fun, the wildness. I relate with it all. And now I want to switch gears here. I want to do a couple things. I want you to know that if any of this content seems bitter, I hope you can put yourself in my place. The show, as of now, is still called Hill Jane Unfiltered. It's not just this, the filter. My show, my videos are where you can come, or where I can come and express myself. And I have a lot of animosity towards Patty Ivy. She's terrible in the role. She can't act, and she's a horrible person. Yes, everyone deserves redemption, but not when it comes to my father or my family. Say what you want about me, don't talk about my family. My father never did anything to these people. He was just a man trying to live his life. I put myself out there like that. I deserve anything that you guys come at me with or that they come at me with, but my parents didn't. My family doesn't. And I defy anyone to do it again. But I want everyone to know that I don't want anyone to be afraid to come on or anything like that. I know how to act. But when someone does something like that, there's just no forgiveness. And I have a platform and I'm able to express myself and state my opinion and what really happened. And they ruined my love for Jayne. And it's terrible because it's not her fault. But there was just no more fun in it anymore. And so I backed away from all of it. I am trying to be a better person, and I would be lying if I didn't say that some really great things have happened in the last few weeks, in the last few months. But it is happening. People are thinking that it's an S&M thing. And I do have a adult entertainment background. I still do adult entertainment from time to time. It's too lucrative not to. It's basically my bread and butter. But what I really wanted to say is that, good things have happened to me. And I can't help but think it's because I've been living life right. And it's about damn time that some good things have happened to me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the powers that be. I'm grateful that I'm maturing and I'm growing up. And I want to talk to someone. I want to segue from the show, from Jayne, and I want to tell my ex-husband, I want to tell you something. To my ex-husband, I want you to know that I forgive you. I've had to forgive you because I can't hold on to the hurt, the animosity, the anger, the embarrassment of everything you put me through. I've had to move on because I had to get that toxicity out of my life and out of my soul. I want you to know I still love you. I'll always love you. I don't want you. To the girl, the thought, I don't want him, but he was an important part of my life. And I'll never forget you. And you were my husband. One day, I'm not going to be around, and you're going to think of me. You're going to think of, I was a pretty cool chick. And you're going to start feeling bad about what you did to me. And while I'm not playing victim, you did screw me over. You're going to think about that, and you're going to feel bad. And you're going to feel guilty. And you're going to miss me. And you're going to realize that you love me. And I just want you to know, I forgive you. I love you too. And whatever it is that you feel I did to you, I hope you can forgive me. And I wish you and your lady the best of luck, and nothing but success and happiness. Nothing but love and encouragement and success for the both of you. I hope whatever it is that you guys are looking for, I hope you find it. I'm not trying to start anything, but I had to express myself. Amber, I forgive you too for trying to attack me. I'm a lady. I don't fight. A lady doesn't fight. I fight with my mouth, but I don't use my hands. A lady would never do that. You can love that man all you want, but be a lady. Because that's what he likes. I was a lady. Whatever he says bad about me and goes on the internet or says about me, I was a lady. And he had a big old white red-headed Barbie doll. I've had to get that bitterness and sadness and everything out of my system. So the day before yesterday was Mother's Day, and my mother isn't here anymore. But her energy is with me, and the way I'm trying to live my life now is my mother's energy. I'm turning into her, and she was a great lady. And finally, I want to say, and she's going to kill me, but to my sister, who was battling the same thing that our mother had. You just remember, you, Sybil Shepherd lookalike you, whose blood you have in your veins, and nothing can get us. We have 900 lives. Can nothing get us down? We're survivors, and we were raised by Scarlett O'Hara. To everyone, to all the mothers out there, it's the most unappreciated and underrated job in the world. And I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. You deserve it. You have the hardest job on earth. Some of you are lucky. You've been able to have two moms. Let me just tell you this. No one will ever love you more than your mother. And no matter how much she gets on your nerves and drives you crazy, you'll miss it when it's gone. And finally, one last thing to my mafioso. First and foremost, Frank wanted to be a guest on the show, but he simply wasn't well enough to do so. So I have some quotes from him, and I'd like to share them with you. So Frank says that the movie is the hardest thing that he ever did in his entire life, but he's very glad that he did it. Not because it's a great movie, but because it's a movie about Jayne. And there always needs to be stories about Jayne so that future generations don't forget her. I totally agree. And he wanted to make a movie that picked up where the Jayne Mansfield story left off, because they only concentrated on the better times, and he wanted everyone to see even the bad times, because she had a lot of fun even in the bad times. And yes, my girl did. To Frank, you make me want to be a better person. Even though you tell me, quit showing the photos with the filter. Honey, please, I am what I am. But I respect you. I love you. And I will never forget you. And I will make sure that your name is cleared and that no one smears it again. Thank you for the movie. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for Jayne. And Frank, I live to love you more each day. You guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the show, my little spectacle. Go out and get you some. Jayne and I sure did. Woo.